So I wanted to interview you because your life is radically different compared to 6 months ago. And I know it started changing before you met me and before we
Mhm,
started working together, but everything is different. So I just want to hear about like what was happening in your life whenever you decided to meet with me and what were you
mhm,
struggling with and going through and what led you to me?
mhm. Yeah, so I was going through a really hard time, ended a 7-year relationship. Um, I had moved back home and I hadn't lived back home since graduating college. I mean, I even before that, because I was in college for 4 years. So I really never had stability because I had moved all over with my boyfriend of 7 years. So moving back home was really great for me, but I also had a lot of anxiety about it. I really felt so disconnected from myself and God and just like who I was at my core.
Yeah.
Um, and God had brought Abby into my life and we connected, and I just saw through her how much she was just like lit up for life and how she viewed everything so differently than I did. I've
Mhm.
never been a negative person by any means, but just like spending time with her and AJ and getting quality time with them and just seeing how they're so passionate about things in life and how they interpret things differently, they have a different perspective, they view things differently. And at first I didn't really understand, and then Abby started talking to me more about like emotional well-being and heart talk. And I remember one specific instance when we were at the gym and she said something about like out loud about like her heart, and like comparing herself to like women in the gym or something. And I was like, what did you just say? Like I was totally caught off guard because it was like abnormal to me.
Yeah.
And so then she started to explain it all, and I just was like, I immediately knew like I needed that in my life. And AJ kept every time I would see him, he would like be like, "Hey, have you reached out to Sam yet? Because they recommended you." And jokingly, he wasn't pressuring me or anything, but I at first thought, no, like I just moved back. I have a lot going on, but I was like, what does it hurt to like hop on a phone call with her and see who she is, hear about her journey, and
Mhm.
ask for help? I think that was the biggest thing for me was like reaching out of my comfort zone and being like, I desperately need somebody to guide me and give me wisdom because I felt at an all time low, um, in terms of just feeling so disconnected from myself and God and being um, frustrated and stuck. I felt super stuck. Like I didn't know what to do to change it. I would take time for God and talk to him and pray, and I like wouldn't feel or hear him or anything. I didn't feel his presence. And also just I didn't feel myself. And a lot of that came from my decisions with like moving around with Liam and being with him, but also I couldn't get reconnected to myself. And so that's why I reached out to you originally.
Mhm.
Um, and it like changed my life. So
That I love that. So, um, what's changed since then? Like, what's been different? I know you honestly did a 180 after our first session. You felt so full and so alive. Like, what was that experience, and what's happened since you started meeting with me?
yeah, it's been a roller coaster. I feel like life is always a roller coaster. Good. I mean, it's a good roller coaster that I'm
Mhm.
on. But one of the main things since meeting with you is I'm able to take time for myself regardless of like what the week looks like. I've been able to connect with who I truly am at my core again. I feel like myself.
Mhm.
And I don't feel confused like walking through life wondering what more there is. I was really stuck in like mediocre phase of my life. And like right now, I don't want to live in Michigan forever. I'm at a job that I love, but I don't want to be there forever. But like I'm very content and happy with it. And I see the bigger picture. Whereas before I wasn't negative, like I said, but I just was stuck in this mindset. So my mindset has completely shifted. I've been able to connect with my heart. I've been able to connect with who I am at my core, and my relationship with God has grown immensely. I don't go a day without talking to Him and connecting with Him and feeling His presence
Cool.
and just being in awe of like who he has created me to be and falling in love with that again. So along with all of that has also been, I've experienced self-love in different ways that I never have before.
Yeah, I love that. And you're talking about your relationship with God. And I remember during our first session, just trying to get you connected to God. And
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong, but you had never heard him speak to you before, right?
I remember instances when I was really young, because like I grew up in a Christian church and I went to a private school, but
Yeah.
for years I remember feeling so distant and never hearing anything. So it had been, I mean, since I was in like sixth grade or something, like that long.
Like 10 years almost.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. I was like just so overwhelmed, but it was such a good feeling.
And and then you started like feeling him and experiencing him and being able to actually see him and have like
Mhm.
encounters with him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy. So what's changed in your relationship with God? You touched on it a little bit. So what's changed
Mhm.
in your relationship with God from before you met me until now? Like what's your
My
relationship
relation,
like?
yeah, like I said, I grew up in a Christian home. My parents were Christians. I went to a Christian school. And by no means did my parents force that on me. I definitely chose into it. Like
Yeah,
I knew who Jesus was and I loved him. I
yeah,
went, I truly knew that. But like I said, throughout my life, people make decisions and I chose things that I felt like in the moment weren't him, and I decided to do my own thing. And so I grew away from him, and I would try and try and try to connect, and I just felt so alone. And
yeah.
it's not that he wasn't there. I had walls built up because I truly deep down didn't want to connect with him because I knew the truth he had for me. And
Mhm.
so when I first moved home and called Sam, I just was like, I just feel stagnant and I feel like I can connect with him. And now it's like I take time every day to connect with him and I feel him and see him even in my work, my day-to-day life and my relationships. And he's just brings me so much joy regardless if I'm having a bad day. It's like I truly know he's there and I sense it and feel it and just like breathe it. So I have a continued connection and relationship with him that I'm continuously working on every day.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel it and it's just changed my personality completely because I'm like that's who I was made to be. Um,
So you
yeah.
feel like you've gotten connected to just who God created you to be.
Yeah.
I love that. And even like just me noticing over the last couple months, it's cool to see you even just through social media, you always seem confident. I don't think like confidence has been a huge issue, right? You're like,
Mhm.
what I got and I'm gonna own it. But
Mhm.
there's a whole new level of confidence in who you are and what's inside of you. Almost like you know you have something to offer that's valuable and you know that
Mhm.
people need to hear what you have to say. So like purpose. It feels more than confidence. It feels like you are connected to purpose and
Yeah,
vision
totally.
again, and you're expressing yourself in
Mhm.
hilarious ways now. It feels like you feel safe enough to like let the world see who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely let down and I think that's something that I'm constantly like working on too is like um just like showing my true colors every day, but I've gotten to a point where I used to be very careful and now it's like I am who I am and like God's made me to be who I am and I need to
I
be
love it.
proud of that and embrace it because there's only one me here and he made me for a reason. But before I definitely did not think that way.
I love that.
No.
Okay, I think just like one more.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So no, I have two more because I'm just curious to see what your answer is. I think
Yeah.
that you it maybe, but so how do you feel differently about yourself and the world? You probably hit on it, but you can make it quick.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly like love myself, like who I am, where I'm at in my journey. I don't depreciate myself because of where I'm at. And ultimately, I just love myself every day and I do my best. Obviously, people have negative thoughts come through their minds, but it's like I know how to wean those out. Whereas I'm not constantly being like, yes, you are, let's just say for like, I'm not pretty today. Instead of constantly thinking that, it's like, no, you are beautiful and God made you to be beautiful and he loves you. And so just like speaking truth over my life in those areas. And then the world, gosh, before I started working with you and connecting with you, I trying to really remember. I mean, I was at a really bad point when I first moved back. I hit rock bottom and I was just like, I didn't understand like why the world is what it is, right? Like I wasn't mad at the world by any means, but I didn't think much of the world, I guess. I didn't think it was, I guess I don't know how to word it. I'm trying to find the language. I felt like alone. And so how I view the world now is I just view that I can help impact and change lives. Whereas before I feel like I tried to believe that, but I didn't believe that I could even make an impact on anyone's life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
So I guess like because I had to like think through that just now
Mm.
before. I mean, I've had my social media forever, and I've had this platform, but I wasn't happy or content or filled with joy at my core. So thinking of people and me impacting their lives, I actually didn't think it was possible,
Yeah.
even if I was helping people. And so I didn't believe in myself. So now when I view the world, it's like I do have a lot to offer and I can make an impact because what I have to offer is valuable and
Mm.
I've been through a lot and I can share my journey and people want to hear
Yeah. It's true. That's so good. I
that.
love that. That's a powerful answer.
Yeah. I know. I was like, I wasn't expecting that. I was like, I don't know.
I love it. It's so cool to just see how you've grown, and it's fun to see you. It's fun to see you wrestle. You've like I know it's been a hard but joyful process for you, but like you're being introduced to so many new things, and every time you're introduced to a new thing, it's like you chew on it and you're like wrestling with it, and you're like, okay, like here's what I think, feel, and believe about this new truth that's in my life, and here's what I'm gonna do with it. And it's
Yeah.
just cool to see, like, I think that you could have gotten here on your own one day, 100%, because it's who you are and it's who God created you to be. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that I get to be the person to watch you kind of bloom and unravel and see the process
Mhm.
expedited, because for me, it's been 7 years of wrestling. And whenever you are walking with someone that's ahead of you, which I had so many people that had been on this journey for 10 years ahead of me, and like getting to glean from their lives and their truths and their breakthroughs, it's like, oh, I got that truth this quick compared to it took them 2 years to get it.
Yeah.
Like I got to step into the breakthrough that they created
Mhm.
for me by going
Mhm.
through it. And that's what you're doing as things get introduced to you and you're like chewing on things and wrestling through it. Like you're able
Mhm.
to just hand that off to people and create
Right.
a breakthrough in their life. So
Right.
it's just fun. It's fun watching you grow emotionally and spiritually. And I know that you're going to create so much influence because I know that God gave you your platform because he trusts you.
Mhm.
So it's cool. I love you and I'm really proud of you. Like you're
Thank you.
amazing and you've been so diligent and you've sought God so intentionally from the very
Mhm.
beginning and I just love that.
Thanks, Sam.
You're welcome. I love you. Thanks for giving me your
I
time.
love you. I couldn't have done it without you. So thank you for everything.
I love you. I can't wait to see you. I'm going to see you tonight on our group
Yep.
coaching call.
Yeah, I'll be there 8:30 my time, 5:30
Cool.
your time.
Yay.
Yay.
All right. I love you. I'll see you tonight.
Okay. Love you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. See ya.